Hi, my name is Kara and I'm a BCBA. And if I think back to what I have spent the most time doing in my career, it's not direct services. It's helping my staff learn how to accurately collect data and write a good session note. Now, I was pen and paper for a long time, so that comes with its own set of challenges. But even moving over to electronic data collection and having staff work out of multiple systems or transcribing data from one place to another can get kind of tricky. And in the end, it just ends up on my to do list as more things that I need to manage and check in on. So I'm really excited to show you what data collection can look like for your frontline staff in CR Mobile, including our new AI generator, which can help streamline that session note writing process. When your frontline staff logs into CR Mobile, this is the first thing they're going to see. So whatever appointments have been created for them for today will appear here, as well as any appointments that they've previously completed. Now, CR Mobile does work offline as well as online, so if your staff are working in environments where they don't have stable Wi-Fi, they'll be able to do this entire workflow exactly the same, with the only difference being that data is going to be held inside of their device until they connect back to Wi-Fi, and at that time there'll be a sync back into the CentralReach system. You'll see at the top I also have visibility into the last time that sync happened. Now I'm going to go ahead and tap on the appointment that I'm ready to start. You'll see at the top of the screen I do have access to some basic client information, including a phone number. So again, if I'm traveling to their home and I need to get a hold of parents or caregivers, I have quick access to that phone number here. Now from this screen, staff are going to slide this blue bar at the bottom to start the appointment, which is going to capture their start time for the appointment on the timesheet, as well as the start time for that billing entry. So I'm going to go ahead and slide that blue bar. You'll see this appointment a status bar pops up saying, hey, this appointment was scheduled for the office. If that happened to change, staff can make that change from this screen, but we're going to hit continue. And from there, they'll be able to see any data sheets that have been assigned to them from their supervisor. Now within CentralReach, supervisors will create a data sheet, and you'll see here we can have multiple data sheets per client, and then they're assigned just to the staff that need them. So in this example, if we work at home and at school with this client, and maybe I'm only working at home with Rowan, I would only see this data sheet on my list. I'm going to go ahead and open up the data sheet, and you'll see when I do up at the top, this appointment is scheduled for 1 hour and we have 59 minutes to go. So we have a countdown timer that lives here at the top of the screen just so your staff can monitor their time. Now, as we get closer to the end of the session, this will turn red, again, just to prompt them that it's time to wrap up. Now, aside from the programs that they can run here, they also can access other resources. So as supervisors, you can decide any extra resources to attach here that staff might need while they're in session. In this example, I have a behavior plan attached here, so staff can quickly reference that in session while they're running programs. Now, as far as data collection goes, you'll see here the list of programs that I'm going to work on with this client. So here we have a task analysis. So I can click on buttons and see steps in the chain. I also can open it up and see that whole chain view if I prefer to do it that way. Now, as staff are running these programs, they have access to some extra information, including instructional notes. Now, this could be narrative that the supervisor has built out. It could also be visuals or even a video model for them to watch before they run the program. We also give them access to a commenting feature. So if they have questions or comments specific to a program, they can leave that here. And in this example, they're asking for help. But when they leave this comment from their data sheet, it will appear over in the client binder for the supervisor, where the supervisor can read it and respond back. So it's a nice two-way messaging system to give our frontline staff the support they need while they're in session. Now you'll see, as I'm moving on to the next program, I can open it up. I've got my different prompt or response buttons to click on here. When I'm done with these programs, I can move on to my next one. So let's say that I'm going to work on sit down. I'm going to open that program up. Now this one has a minimum of 5 trials tied to it. So I'm just going to click on these buttons. Now, if I don't run all 5 of those trials, there's going to be an alert that I get saying that I need to go back and finish those trials. So you'll see here, once I've closed the program, I have this exclamation point that's telling me I need to go back and collect that minimum number before I move on. So hopefully that's going to prompt your staff to do so. And then once I reach that minimum number and collapse the program, that red exclamation point goes away, and now you'll see a green check mark, just letting staff know that they have finished that requirement. Now, when I need my behavior reduction targets, those live under that push pin there at the bottom. So here I can choose the behavior that's happening, open it up, and track that data. So here we've got things like frequency or duration or rate. We've got interval timers. You'll also see this timer's already been running for over 3 minutes. So timers can be tied to the start of the data collection sheet. So if staff need that timer to start at the beginning of the session, that's just one less thing that they have to remember to do. Up at the top, they can access ABC data where they can choose the behavior that's occurring. And as you're setting these up, you can have common antecedents and consequences already here, or staff could type those in as free text boxes. You also have one extra box where you can track anything else you want to about the behavior. Now, when staff have finished collecting their data, they're going to go back to their front screen. You'll see that green check mark here lets them know that data has been collected. And now they're going to move through their to-do list. And this is one reason why I really like mobile for my frontline staff, because they're not switching in and out of different systems or different screens to do all their jobs. They're doing everything here in one spot. So here I'm going to open up my session note. Now you all will be able to design your own notes. You can put safeguards into your notes, like required questions that they have to answer before they can wrap up the note. You can include things like checkboxes or drop-down menus. So I have some basic information here. And maybe today Rowan has struggled with bedtime routines. So I'm just going to enter that note really quickly. I also can pull in a session summary, which will give me a list of all of the programs that I ran along with the data points for that program, and that will populate on my note as well. Now the next thing on my to-do list is to collect my signatures. These can be set as required or optional depending on what your funding source needs. So in this example, my funding source needs a parent signature, which I can just hand the device over to mom and have her sign off. I also have the ability to route these notes to a supervisor if needed. So if we want supervisor to get eyes on these notes, we can have this note land in their inbox in CentralReach as soon as the frontline staff has finished their workflow. Now I'm going to slide that blue bar at the bottom to end my appointment, and now I'm going to see a summary screen, and it's just verifying that these are the targets that I worked on today that data was collected on. So I'm going to save that. And now I can go back and actually use an AI generator to help me finish up my note. We call our AI generator Carrie, and so I'm going to start Carrie and get her to work on generating a nice session summary for me. So what she's doing is pulling the data that I collected as well as information that I populated in my session note and putting it into a nice paragraph. So here we can see how long the session was, who ran it. We've got some, demographic information as well as the programs that we ran. You'll also see that she noted that parents were present during session and that we worked on behavior reduction targets as well as skill acquisition. Now, you do have the option to edit Carrie's note. So if there was anything that you wanted to change, you can go in and make those changes here. So if you wanted to delete or add information, you certainly can. And again, these can be routed to a supervisor if you'd like them to review those as well. Now, once I've added that summary, I have two options here. Now, as I'm running my session, I can start working on my session note and be collecting data simultaneously. And so sometimes we know that sessions don't always end on time. So if I'm running late and I need to come in and complete this later, I can save everything I've done so far in a draft form and then come back and finish it when I have time. Of course, if I'm on time, I can go in, I can sign off on the note myself, and then that signature is saved. And if I have fulfilled all of the requirements that you have put into the note, including the required signatures and the required questions, it's going to bring me back to the front screen. It's going to mark that appointment complete, which means we now have a completed timesheet for me as the frontline staff. We have a completed billing entry for the client, and we have graphed and saved data over in the client binder.